What is up, people? Welcome back to Blue Chip Prospect for another video. If this is not the best time of the year or one of the best time of the year, I don't know what is. I just love when the NHL is starting back. You can watch as much hockey as you want. You can catch up on every game on those magnificent 720p highlights video from the NHL. It's amazing. Alright, so today's video is going to be about the top 10 winger prospect in the NHL. So without further ado, let's get this started right away. So between the time that I recorded this and the time that I was going to post this video on YouTube, a little something happened. Elite Prospect, they posted a video on Anton Salayev this week while using KHL footage, and the video was taken down due to copyright issues. I had two videos planned, this one for next week and one on Bogdan Konushkov that I was going to release today. But after a short conversation with David St. Louis from Elite Prospect, I decided that it was probably better to not post any KHL footage on any video for the time being. So I will not post the Konushkov video, and I will transform it into an article on the website that I'm very slowly building. And for this video, I will take all of the KHL clips out. It sucks because I had some great clips from Michkov since he's been retransferred to Sochi, but it is what it is. But if any of you really want to see him, the KHL website is by far the best hockey website on the planet. You can get all the condensed game for free. You can have highlights, you can have just the goals, you can have everything that you want at 1080p if you take your ad blocker off. So that's really good compared to the 720p the NHL is offering you. So now let's start this for real. So here we go, and as is tradition by now, I make a top 10 and I have about 25 players that I want to put in there. So a lot of players are being pushed to the outside, and those players are players like Gabe Perreault, Matthew Wood, Joachim Kemel, Dylan Gunther, Matt Coronado. Those are just some players that comes to my head. Even player like Jordan Dumais, who I'm not as sure for him, but they all deserve a place close to number 10 of the top 10 winger prospect in the NHL. But anyway, I decided to keep it at 10, and at number 10 I have one of my favorite player in the WHL, or in the whole CHL I would say. I have my boy Andrew Cristall. So I'm kind of realizing by now that I'm the only one who's still that high on Andrew Cristall. I can't remember anybody who had him in their top 10 before the draft, or when the draft happened. I think I was the only one who still had him in his top 10, and it is what it is. I just like him a lot. In terms of production, he's at the very top of this list. He had 94 points, 39 goals in 54 games. And same thing in terms of skills, actually. He's at the very top of this list. Like, he could easily be number 1 and number 2 on this list. But the thing is that he comes with some risk. There's the defense commitment that is not always there. He's good positionally, but he's not really committed to, I don't know, play defense, you know, which is really important. And then there's also the fact that his skating stride is a little bit weird. He's always in a 10-2 or a mohawk stride, and he's got to eliminate that a little bit out of his game, because in the NHL you don't see people always mohawking their way to the net. So he's got to have to work on that. But in terms of skills, like I said, he's an amazing shooter and an amazing passer, and he's, how can I say that? He's like extremely deceptive. You never know if he's either gonna shoot or either gonna pass the puck. He fools everybody on the ice, including his teammates. So yeah, if you want a more in-depth analysis of Andrew Cristall, I have a full scouting report that you guys can just go check. And if not, let's jump to another one. At number 9, I have Jiri Kulich. And now I know that some of you are going to be like, well, he's a center. And I'll be like, yeah, but I say things the way I see things. And I think that his game is more adapted to the wing than it is to the center position. In terms of production, he had 46 points with 24 goals in 62 games. And I think that in the AHL, that's like something like the 3rd or 4th best U19 production, something like ever. So that's great. And he was also fired at the U20s with 9 points in 7 games and 7 goals in 7 games. So production, it's great. In terms of skills, and the reason why I said I think he's more adapted to the wing than to the center position is because he's a shoot first type of player. He doesn't have the handling or the distribution skills that you'd like to have from a center in your top 6. Like the center in your top 6 are usually the big time distributor in your lineup, and your wingers are usually more the shooters. And the thing is that his main strength is finding the lanes or putting himself in position to create lanes to receive the puck in a pocket of space where he can let go his devastating one-timer. That's what he does, and that's what he does best. He also has a very good and sneaky wrist shot that he can let go very fast and very accurately from very close to the net. He doesn't like to shoot from far. He always shoots from pretty close, but like I said, his main strength is shooting. Whether it's a wrister or a one-timer, that's what he's very good at, and finding the space to release that shot. He's not a great distributor, so that's why I think that in the NHL he's going to be pushed to the wing. Even though he had great face-off, the wing is going to be more adapted to his game. So that's it for Jiri Kulich. Let's go to number 8. And at number 8, I have a player for who I have extremely high expectations next season if he can fix his consistency issues, and that player is Quentin Musty. In terms of production, he had 78 points, 26 goals in 53 games, and in terms of skills, he has it all. But the thing is that you cannot describe Quentin Musty in like one word. He's like a hybrid between a power forward and a finesse player. The thing is that he's never both at the same time. So some night he's gonna be a power forward and he's gonna drive his way to the net. He's gonna time his way to the net to get deflection. He's gonna drive to the board and get the puck from the outside to the inside, whether by himself or with a skill pass or something like that. And some night he's just like a ballerina out there and he's trying to outskill everybody, which it works in the OHL but won't work in the NHL. So I think that is one of the reasons why he was drafted a little later, because considering the level of skill and the level of strength and body that he has, he should be like a top 15 lock for sure. But the thing that some nights he's just inconsistent in the way that he plays and doesn't play a way that's translatable to the NHL. He was picked later, but like I said, in terms of skills, he has it all. He's a very skilled passer, a very skilled handler. He can shoot the puck really hard. He can play the power game along the board. He can play the power game in transition. He can play the power game and getting to the net. Like I said, he has it all. Obviously, the skating is a little mediocre. It's like average. I wouldn't say it's over average. I wouldn't say it's under average. It's a part of his game that needs to progress for him to get to the next level, but I don't know. I'm not scared of it at all. I think it's gonna happen, and overall, I think there's a chance for Quentin Musty to become a very good winger. Like, I have him at number 8 now, but he could definitely jump to like number 5 or number 4 next season. I don't know. But anyway, let's go to number 7. And at number 7, I have Leonard. And Leonard is a player for who sometimes I'm on and sometimes I'm off. So in terms of production, he had 94 points in 57 games and 51 goals in 57 games. So in terms of production, that's amazing. Also 17 points in 7 games. So production, he knocked it out the park. That's great. Now, what I would like to see is what Leonard can do without Perreault and without Will Smith on his line. I want to see if he doesn't have two amazing creators and an amazing connector with him. What can he do? We already know that he can do all the hard work. We already know that he has a hard shot, an NHL level shot. I want to know if he can create for others instead of just creating for himself. If he can add a playmaking element to his game, and I'm not saying that it's completely absent. I'm saying that I don't think it's a high level playmaking game that he has. But if he can add a high level playmaking game to his game, then he's going to be an amazing selection at number 8 for Washington. A bit like Jimmy Snuggerud. Snuggerud, we knew he was good. We knew he was a good selection where they took him, but we didn't know he was as good as he was. All right. Now we want to know, can Leonard replicate the same thing? Can he go from very good to excellent? Can he be a driver on his line? Not necessarily a driver, because he does drive his line, but can he become a playmaker as well as a hard worker, as well as a hard shooter? If he can do that, amazing selection. If he can't do that, good selection. All right, that's the way I see it. But anyway, nonetheless, number 7 on this list, it's still very good. Now let's go to number 6. And speaking of the devil, at number 6, I have Jimmy Snuggerud. In terms of production, he did as good as you can get from a player that was selected in the 20s in a draft +1. He had 50 points, 21 goals in 40 games, and 13 points in 7 games at the U20s. So again, in terms of production, he knocked it out the park. But again, when you're number 6 on the list of top 10 wingers prospect in the NHL, you should knock it out the park when it comes to production. So now, if not, then what are you doing there, right? So Jimmy Snuggerud was playing in University of Minnesota with Logan Cooley and Matthew Knies, and they were all really good together, and they all had like a different role. What Jimmy Snuggerud is really good at is being open. It's the simplest way to say it, but it's also the best way to say it. He's really good at finding space where he can be, where a player can easily send the puck to him, and where he can easily send the puck to somebody else or shoot it on screen. All right, so that's his main strength. He's like, you know, when they use the word connector, well, that's what a connector is. You receive, you send, you create a link in the offense. So that's what his main job is, and that's what he's absolutely a beast at. He's always open. If you watch a game of Minnesota, there's Logan Cooley who dances on the ice, there's Matthew Knies who's just ripping the board apart, and then there's Snuggerud who's just open on the ice, ready to receive a puck and shoot it or pass it to somebody else, where the goalie will just like fall on his back because there's nothing he can do. All right, so that's it for Jimmy Snuggerud. There's no other way to put it. Like, obviously he's a skilled passer, he's a skilled shooter, he's a skilled everything. His skating got better than what it was, but like I said, his main strength is just being open and just linking the offense together. That's what he does. All right, so let's go at number 5. And at number 5, William Eklund. And of all the players on this list, he's a player for who I'm the least certain of the projection that I have for, and also the least certain of why I put him top 5. Like, in the games that I've watched, he was everywhere on the ice. He didn't have production, but he was everywhere on the ice. But the production suggests that it's okay. He had 41 points, 17 goals in 54 games. It's good, but it's not great. Now, how is it gonna go in the NHL? We'll see when he plays in the NHL. But in terms of skills, he's like a mini Zack Benson with less playmaking but more skating. Okay, he plays very aggressively. He plays at 110% all the time. He goes into puck battles head first. He can shoot the puck hard. He skates hard all the time. He back checks hard. He plays his defensive duties no problem. He's the type of player that he has the skills to be on the first line in the NHL. He also has the defensive responsibilities to be a good two-way winger. So those players have a lot of value. I don't think he's going to be a driver, a first-line driver in the NHL. I don't think that's the game that he has, or that he has the brain or the skills for that. But because he's high-end in so many facets of his game, I think that he can easily be a complementary player on the first line, but also a player that you can put against the first line of the other team, and he can help play defense, and then he can help transition the puck, and then he can help in the offense part of the game too. So yeah, so it's hard to be sure of that kind of projection because the production is not there. It's not suggesting that, but I think that's the type of player that he can become. So we'll see over time how it goes. This season, he needs a big season to show that he can do that, but if he does, watch out, William Eklund is going to explode. All right, let's go to number 4. And at number 4, I have Matthew Knies. And for years now, well, at least since he's been drafted, a lot of people have been telling me that Matthew Knies is not as good as I think he is. And I would completely disagree. I think he's better than what I think he is. The thing is, the production is good. He had 42 points, 21 goals, and in 40 games. But that production is third on his line behind Jimmy Snuggerud and behind Logan Cooley. But I think that what he does, and I'm putting Logan Cooley apart because he's on a different level, but what he does, it's something that's really hard to do in the NHL. He's a guy that wins most of his puck battles, and he understands how to leverage his body, leverage his strength, how to shield the puck away from players trying to get it, and how to send it to an open player. Like, you shield it, you wait, and then you send it to a player that's 3, 4, 5 feet away. If you expect Matthew Knies to send the puck cross ice on the power play, that's not what his game is all about. His game is small area game. That's what he does. Whether he gets the puck on the board or he gets the puck in the middle of the ice is the same thing. He wins the puck battle, shield the puck, wait for an open teammate, send it 3, 4, 5, 6 feet away to a player that's open for a shot. He does that better than, I don't know, than most. Okay, I don't remember the last player that I've seen that can do it as well as he does it. It's just, maybe it's just because it's NCAA level and he plays against other NCAA player and he's 6'3" and he's just big and strong. But the thing is that he's very impressive to see. And then That's one part of his game. That's the elite part of his game, but all the rest is still very good. He's still a good skater. He's very, very strong. He's a good playmaker. He's a good shooter. He drives the net. He plays well defensively. He does everything. So not only he has everything that's really, really good, he also has an elite part to his game. So I think that when you pair a player like that and you put him beside players like Marner and Matthews and Tavares, I mean, he's going to be just so dangerous. He's going to do what the other players don't want to do. Maybe Tavares does it, but like Marner is not going to win puck in the corners, right? And he's not going to win puck in the middle of the ice in the battle. Knies going to do it, and Knies going to send it to him, and he's going to shoot, and he's going to score. So I think number 4 is deserved. I'm excited to see what he's going to be, but yeah, I think he's going to be really, really good. So at number 3, I have Lukas Reichel, and I know that compared to most player, or well, every player on this list, he played more NHL game. He played 23 games last season, and he played 11 games the year prior. But I don't have any kind of strict parameters for what I consider a prospect. It's more a feeling thing. So considering the fact that he played most of his season in the AHL and not the NHL, I still consider him a prospect, but that would be the last year. So yeah, number 3 for Lukas Reichel. And when it comes to skills, or when it comes to production, he had 15 points in 23 games in the NHL and 51 points in 55 games in the AHL, and he also had 57 points in 56 games the year prior. So the production is 100% there. And in terms of skills, Lukas Reichel is another player that can basically do it all on the ice and do it all at a high level. He's a good 200-foot player. He's a good playmaker. He's a great skater. Very good handler. Very good shooter. At least the one-timer is really on point. Like I said, he does everything at a high level. But I think he's first and foremost a playmaker, and first and foremost a transition player. He's a guy that can take the puck from the defense and bring it to the offense night after night, absolutely no problem. And when he gets into the offense, he's really good at breaking down the defense. Move the defense so we can pass it, or move the defense so he can get to the middle and shoot it from there. He's a guy that likes to go into the high slot to shoot the puck, or one time the shot in the high slot. Obviously, like every other player, he will shoot from the outside, low percentage chances sometimes, but he knows that where he's gonna score is in the middle of the ice, and he gets there, and yeah, that's good. He has the skating, he has the handling for it, he has the playmaking, the vision for it, he has everything to be a great production player that also play very well on 200 foot of the ice. So that's it for Lukas Reichel. Let's go to number 2. And at number 2, I have no one else than Zack Benson, and boy, oh boy, does he look good. It's crazy to me. I cannot process the fact that he went to 13th overall because he's a bit small and it's not the great skater. I mean, this league is never going to change, right? It's going to be what it's going to be. But nonetheless, Zack Benson, I mean, everything has been said about him. Every scouting services or scouting person has made a video or an article about him and dissected his game. So everybody knows that he's a high-end or an elite playmaker. He's a small winger with not great skating, but not bad skating. He's a super high energy player. He's probably the best defensive prospect, I mean, as a forward, but still the best defensive prospect of the whole draft class last season. He's just amazing everywhere on the ice, and when you watch him play, he's also everywhere on the ice. So I mean, I don't know if you guys watched the game. I think it's against Boston where he assisted on Skinner's one-timer. I mean, he just received the puck in a high slot and no look pass from backhand for a one-timer to Skinner, and I mean, the play was just, it was gold. It was amazing. It's amazing to see a guy that's 18-year-old that played in the WHL last season just do that. I know it's just preseason, but it's just like, it's a taste of what it's gonna be. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that Zack Benson is gonna be, I don't know if he's gonna be a star, but he's gonna be a very good top 6 player, that's for sure. So yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna pass too much time on this guy because everything has been said, and I have my full scouting report on him if you want to watch it. So go take a look at that if you want to know more. But hey, just an amazing player. All right, number 1 now. And at number 1, I have my boy Matvei Michkov, and I think that if you've been following me for a couple months on this channel, you probably know by now how high I am on him. I mean, he deserves it for sure, but I've been super high all of last season and I'm still super high. It just baffles me a little bit how he went back to St. Petersburg, where they played him one game, gave him something like around 6 minutes, and obviously he couldn't do anything. Then they benched him and sent him to Sochi, where he actually played 14, 15, 16 minutes, and now all of a sudden he's a point per game player in the KHL at 18 years old. Who would have known? And just like Benson, I have a full scouting report on him, so if you want to know more in depth and more details the way he plays and the player that he is, you can go watch that. But to make it quick and short, he's a goal scorer first and foremost, but I think that his playmaking is extremely underrated. Like, nobody is ever talking just how good he is at creating space for himself and how good he is at creating space for his teammates. The thing is that he doesn't do everything alone. He's not a player that will transition the puck and then go score a goal by himself. That's not who he is. He uses his teammate all the time. So when you watch him, you know that he can create for others because he keeps doing it. He keeps creating for all of his teammates, but the puck always comes back to him and then he scores. So yeah, he's a goal scorer first, but I think his playmaking is going to end up at the same level as his goal scoring. He's not going to be a player that's going to be scoring more goals than assists or something like that. I think it's going to be pretty equal when he gets to the NHL and light it up. So yeah, at number 1, it's Matvei Michkov. I think it's extremely well deserved. There's no debate there for me. So yeah, that's it. I wanted to ask you guys a question because I've been building a website for the last couple of weeks, and obviously I'm doing that slowly because time is limited and also because I don't know how. So every day is a challenge, but also I have to write articles so that website have some content on it before somebody clicks and goes on it, right? So I want to know if there's any ideas or stuff that you would like to say. Like, I know I'm gonna put like rankings, I'm gonna put scouting reports with some videos on it and stuff like that. I'm gonna try to make it as nice as I can, but if you have any ideas of things that you would like to see, like depth charts or something like that, just let me know, communicate it to me so I can try to add it if I have the capabilities to do it. And yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.